Hi everybody, this is Alchemist2 and I'm back again with another movie review. Recently I just watched a film called The Sapphires and I really didn't know anything about it, honestly. All I knew is that it took place in the 60s and um, it was about a group, and I thought, oh, it's about a musical group. Well, yeah, that would be the very simplistic review of it. It's more than that. It takes place, of course, it takes place during the 60s, and it's about the Aboriginals in uh, Australia. Really doesn't like to talk about this too much. The movie Australia really portrays this very well, but they kind of gloss over it. This one doesn't candy coat it at all. This is very blunt and to the point and very harsh, but it shows the tale as it truly is. But basically, the gub, or what that's what they call the white people, they would come and take those who were white, really white. They would take them away to the institution and let them away from their homeland and force them to learn the white people ways and all the vicissitudes of being white. Kay was one of the sisters in the group that was taken away by the goob, and she was in Melbourne. And later on, you've got Gail, Julie, and the other sister. I can't remember her name, but they're all taken to Melbourne. Well, after they impress some people, they're taken to Melbourne, and they get Kay back, and they get her interested in singing with them because they've been singing since they were children in another language, probably the Aboriginal language. I'm not sure if it was that or what language it was. Um, Sounded kind of Hebrew to me, but I wasn't sure. I don't speak Hebrew, so it was just a really pretty song, just about Moses and the Promised Land and all that, and I thought it was beautiful. Um, they meet this guy is named Dave, and Dave is your sharpshooter, straight talking, silver tongued devil type, and he curses quite a lot. I mean, he's kind of rough around the edges, but deep down later on we figure out he's really a good guy, and he drives Gail absolutely cracking mad. But it's so funny to see their relationship with one another. And at first he criticizes them for liking country western music. It's like, you sing country western, but you're black. And he calls it as he sees it. It it's just, he has so many great lines in this film, and they're just hysterical. He gets them all together, and they finally are able to get Kay to come along with them, and she does, and they impress the people that are needing entertainment in Vietnam. It's like the USO. I'm not sure what the Australian equivalent for that would be, but basically they would go and entertain the boys as they were fighting. They demanded that they would have an escort, so they would be protected at all times when they were there, because Nam was pretty violent, and they actually show that, and they didn't sugarcoat that either, which I thought was really splendidly done. And I have to say, if you're a fan of soul music like I am, I absolutely adore this movie because I knew all the songs. And Sugar Pie Honey Bunch was actually a song that I sang to my mom quite a bit when I was a girl, and it just brought back really warm, fuzzy memories for me. It was so nostalgic, and this movie is amazing. It really is. You'll cry quite a bit, so I forewarn you now, get your Kleenex. I'm not going to tell you the entire story or how they get their gig to Vietnam, how it all happens. That's a little bit of a spoiler, but it's really not that big of one. It's a very poignant film. It drives hard a really good message, and there are lots of good morals and values. And I have so much respect for Australians in general. The Aboriginals, and I even have more respect for them after what they've gone through. Um, yeah, I think that they had the rawest end of the deal versus our Native Americans. Yeah, I think that I don't know if the two can be compared, but I think that the Aboriginals got the short end of the stick on this one. If you see the movie, then you understand why I feel this way. I mean, it was just absolutely atrocious what these people had to go through, but they did get citizenship. They got their first people's rights, so thank God they finally got that. It took years for them to actually be recognized as people, but all their perseverance and their determination and their hard-nosed stubbornness got them to that point, and I really I have so much respect for that. I just doff my hat to the Aboriginals. The music in this is just as sensational, and it just made me so happy. I love that soul music. I always have. I always will. I'll never grow out of it. It just is something that's part of my childhood. It's ingrained in me, even though it's before I was even born. It's just timeless music. It'll never grow old, and it's just something that makes you happy and makes you feel good. It just gives you reason to be, and it's appropriate for its genre. It elicits what it stands for. It is soulful. It's got passion, and that's what I like about it. And that's probably the same reason why I like rock and roll. They're two entirely different genres. Um, I thought that the whole message of the film was really beautifully done, and just I think that this is one of the best movies of all time, and it's a documentary. It's done by Film Australia, and I hope they get some plaudits and recognition for this, because this is one of the best films I've seen in a good long while. It just is a very enlightening film, and I couldn't be happier that I have seen it. And if you have a chance to go see it, even though it's in limited quantities, do it, because it's definitely worth your while. And my rating for the Sapphires is two thumbs way up and 5 stars across the board, just because of how beautiful the cinematography is, the humor in it, the very direct nature of the Aussies themselves. Just um, the whole idea of community and family, and that's the one crux I feel that the film really drives to a good point, as well as a lot of morals and values that are implicitly stated. And it's just really a terrific film that I think everybody can enjoy, despite the fact that there is some blood and guts concerning Vietnam. But they do it in a way that they don't they show it as it happened. They don't say, well, this never occurred and people never died. Well, no, they they do make it very certain and very crystal clear that there was danger and they were in harm's way at the time. Especially later on when you figure out what Dave does when he's blotto. But yeah, Dave does stupid stuff when he's blotto, but he redeems himself for it later. He's really not such a bad guy. He's really not a good drunk. That's just the whole point. Um, it's this movie's wonderful, and especially if you're Australian, I say take pride in being Australian with this film, because I hope that if if it all means you get an Oscar for this, because this is truly a moving picture. It's award winning. The music is wonderful. The girls have just these crystal clear voices. They're so talented. Um, and even the character who plays Dave, his voice was amazing, and he just had incredible moves. Even though Gail said he couldn't really dance, and he danced more like a goober, which yeah, he did kind of dance like a goober. I'll give him that. But um, he was at least he had soul. I mean, it's what's in here that counts, not what's on the outside. That's why music bridges so many boundaries, I feel.